aye. And all opposed, and one abstention, which is Chair Brown, who was absent. That for oral written communication, members of the audience tonight may address the commission on matters of public interest which pertain to the city and are not otherwise on the agenda tonight. If you wish to speak, please step forward to the microphone and state your name, city of residence, and make your presentation. Please limit your presentations to 3 minutes. Seeing no one, we'll close the oral written communication and move on. There's no items on the consent calendar. And under public hearings, which time the hearing process includes a staff presentation by the tremendous Mr. Chris Wright, a presentation by the applicant not to exceed 10 minutes, and public testimony. All other comments should be limited to 3 minutes. With that, we'll open item 8A, 212 Avenida Princesa, conditional use permit 15478, Holt Residence. Mr. Wright.
Hello, good evening, Chair, Commissioners. This is a continued item from May 4th, in which there is discussion on...
I beg your pardon, I should have mentioned earlier, I did not attend the previous hearing on this issue, but I have reviewed the minutes and seen the video, and I'm prepared for this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption, Chris.
Yes, so on this item, there's a request for a conditional use permit to construct an accessory building that exceeds a 15-foot height limit for detached accessory buildings. And the proposed building, if I could have the clicker, it's in the rear corner of the property behind the home. And staff had given a presentation at the last meeting in which there was concerns at the end of that discussion regarding the scale of the building, in particular with a roof element in which there are windows above the main roof line of the building. And so the applicant was sort of recommended that they make some design changes to reduce the perceived scale of the building, in which the applicant has made changes that are shown in the staff report. And I have a slide here that provides a comparison, in which the very top there, you see on the left-hand side is the original design. There's that portal window on the very top. And the objective of that roof element was to let light into the building, like a dormer type element on a roof line. And so in response to the comments at the last meeting, the applicant has scaled that back, as you can see on the right side. And staff supports the request, doesn't have concerns with the design. And the finding that staff thinks that the height and scale of the building is in character with the neighborhood, considering the location of the building, setback far from the street. And it's also, should be noted, as part of this building is tucked behind the building from the home. So not all this is directly visible from the street. That concludes my presentation. Actually, one other thing I want to note is brought to my attention that some of the engineering recommended standard conditions of approval were left out of the resolution. So I put them on this exhibit that could be cited in any motion if there is one tonight. I have copies here.
Please, thank you.
That you emailed us?
What's that? No. These are all standard engineering conditions that are actually citations from the municipal code. Just to
like
put in the paper
shower
trail.
and other things.
No, for example, if you grade such that you have more than 50 cubic yards of soil that is moved, then you need a grading permit. That's right out of the municipal code.
Which items are actually changes here on this?
This is all additional.
All additional, everything?
Yes.
17, 18.
And I show that to the applicant. They know about this. The only thing that's been modified is with regard to the 18th condition that I have, and I have it numbered to follow the order of the resolution. That's why it's not number 1 at the top. So it's B, it talks about a tile sidewalk. So this is an area that requires a tile sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, everything is directly out of the municipal code.
Right. Are you okay, Madam Secretary? Okay.
So, and you said you covered this with the applicant and they understand about the tile sidewalk and all that sort of a thing, and they're good with it.
I put it in my street, I know.
They
I
can
know what you're
comment
gonna
whether
go
they have
through. I did it
concerns, but
myself.
I informed them. They didn't
Okay.
state any concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Where does it say about a tile sidewalk here, though?
18B?
Oh, per tile, okay, thank you.
We're here to help you.
Are there any questions?
Any other questions of staff on staff brief?
I have a question. Chris, could you just walk us through some of the project data, previous project data versus current as it relates to area, square footage expansion and overall building height?
Yes, the size of the building in terms of square footage hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the roof line. So the area of the building is the same. The floor plan is the same. The only thing that is different is the very top, there's the, I don't know if this, I can use the mouse. Yes, that roof element has been scaled back to retain the window up above to continue to let the light in, as that was the main objective of that roof element, but to scale it back in response to concerns. And also there's a change here, this deck railing, they just continued it around. You can see it goes around a
See
little
it
bit.
better down the bottom right.
Yeah, and that's all behind the house. Those are the really the changes, but in terms of the height of the building, I recall, I think it's the same. That the highest point of the building hasn't changed, just the scale of that roof element's smaller.
Okay, just in the, on the T1 sheet, we're showing us an average roof height. So I take it we're just going to the highest point, taking a couple measurements from the highest point there, that little cupola detail. So, okay, thank you.
Any other questions of staff? Would the applicant like to make any comments tonight?
Sure.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Ian Buchan, I'm the designer here. Yeah, my impression from the last meeting was that you felt it was too massive in comparison with the front building, which we understood, and also the appearance of a third-story building. That was the biggest point that I took from it. So we removed the larger element, and actually the average roof height went down slightly. So to maintain an interesting architecture, and we had tried it originally with just keeping that one ridge going down the middle without anything else at the top, and it looked awkward, and I also think it's just a much more interesting design. Interior space, it'll allow light and ventilation in a raised dormer cupola sort of idea. And to me, it no longer appears to be a three-story building. It seems to be pretty conventional. Offset eave heights on the backyard facing side, we've lowered the ceiling height to 7'6", so that plate is lower, and on the taller side, it's about 9 foot and change 2 inches or so. So it's all pretty conventional two-story heights with these dormer elements on top. And then the deck, to me, it felt a little awkward coming straight off that side wall and going following the sideline of the garage wall, and also to help to tie it into their backyard better and provide a more functional space to hang out and put lounge chairs and maybe a table, wrap that around, and that tied right in with the columns that are making that little colonnade and trellis around the side. So,
Any questions of the applicant's architect? Thank you.
thank you.
With that, I'll open the public hearing. See if there's any public comment from anyone. Seeing no one come forward, no cards, I'll close the public comment and entertain a motion or discussion. Commissioner Wu.
I actually have a question to our city attorney, but city attorney is absent. So I will ask our city planner on that question. One of the conditions is that we put a deed restriction that this structure will not be used for rental. If the city doesn't have any limit on renting out a room out of any home, why we prohibit them from renting this space on this structure?
It's because of the detached nature of the building. It's a separate building, so then it becomes what we would consider a granny flat, and then doesn't meet the definition in the code. So basically, if you're renting it out and it's a separate building, It functions as a separate unit because they're less likely to be able to share the kitchen and the shower and everything else. So that's typically the reason for that condition.
But we already decided it's not a granny unit or it's not an accessory unit.
If you disagree with the condition, then get the commissioners to remove it.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the, or
If there's no more discussion, I'd be happy to make a motion.
please do.
I'll move we adopt resolution number PC 16-016, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Clemente, California, approving conditional use permit 15-478, a request to construct a detached accessory building that exceeds a 15-foot maximum height for detached accessory buildings located in a single-family residential site at 212 Avenida Princesa, with the addition of conditions of approval 12 through 19 as provided to us by staff this evening.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Passes 7-0. Good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
With that, we'll go on to, there is no new business, no old business. Do we have any discussions on tentative future agenda? Commissioner Crandall?
One, I will be gone on the 22nd and miss that meeting. And had a question for Jim. When we have a project in front of us and it triggers a thought in our mind to discuss an item that really doesn't pertain to the application, but the use, can that be brought up in new business and discussed, or can it just be brought up into?
For the public record, the city planner is butt dialing, he's butt dialing somebody. We'll appropriately modify the minutes, of course.
Is that an iPhone, Jim?
So if it's brought up during new business, then, can we actually discuss it, or can we just, are we limited to just saying it has to be agendized and talked about later?
Yeah, you can't talk about it at this meeting. We can agendize it. Typically, we do a study session.
Okay. Because, and the only reason I bring this up is we sometimes really put the applicant through the grill when we're talking about side items that really don't pertain to his application, but it's something we want to talk about, and it's a serious issue, so we can bring it up then in new business, agendize it, and then talk about it. Okay, very good.
I would, to chime in on this a little bit, I know Commissioner Wu, last 2 sessions ago when we had this thing, and tonight has had some serious questions about accessory buildings and some definitions here. So I would encourage you to put those thoughts in writing and forward it to the city planner and ask him to share it with his staff and us commissioners, and then in turn roll that around for a future study session. So we can maybe get better focus on accessory building and accessory uses, just so we did some definition issues back in 2011. I think some of us were there for that. And maybe it's time, I thought you brought up some very good points about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but we start doing ordinance and concepts in the dais, it gets a little tricky, and I know I kind of shy away from that because design on the dais generally tends to be disastrous. And so I'd encourage you to please put your thoughts on paper or electronically forward it to him to share with his staff and with us, and then we schedule it for a study session in the future. Is that?
Thank you. I will do that.
Okay, was that-
Because we had a case, then the next case, the applicant pushed the envelope a little more.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's a point we have to draw a line.
There's a tipping point, and
Right.
that's why I remembered your discussion from a month ago, and I've been thinking about it, that's why I wanted to bring this up tonight. So let's get our hands around it as we look forward, like we did, we deferred on the study session tonight, but I know Commissioner Eggleston has had a thing on the future agenda on the home ordinance issues. It's been on that's been out there a long time, and I think pretty soon we got to step up to the plate before the council gives us another go-do. Since this commission's been acting like a general, kind of, and in so much general ways of a commission like we have at the county level, of all the subjects we've covered in the last 9 months, you know, marijuana, massage parlors, hospitals, STOUs, 10 wonderful meetings, a general plan amendment of 800 pages. You know, you think about some of the issues we've covered, and we've been kind of like a grand jury. And so, geez, I got in this business for land use? Oh, okay, there's a hook there, I guess. So we need to get our hands going forward on some very, I think, fruitful and meaty study session. I know it's staff time, but maybe things are starting to settle down for your staff, even though we've lost a key member in your staff there, Jim. With that, I'll proceed onward here, and since we're through new business, old business, any reports from commissioners and staff? I would love to hear something from the Coastal Advisory Committee.
And you will, next meeting. We meet tomorrow night.
Is the infamous Trafalgar Canyon on the agenda, I hear? Finally?
That is our hope. I
only
don't know if
been
it made no, it didn't make the agenda. The report is complete, but it didn't make the agenda, sadly.
I'm so sad, it's only been a year. I'll talk to Mary Vondrake personally about that. Okay,
She's in Laguna now.
Commissioner Rulon. Oh, she left the city?
Yeah.
Mary Vondrake left?
Yeah,
Yes.
she went to Laguna Beach.
When was this? I wasn't aware of that.
About a month, yeah.
Oh, really? So who's taking over the Coastal Advisory? Tom is, go back in?
A little bit
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, Tom's doing a good job.
Oh,
Covers the same
he
stuff.
chaired it for like 10 or 12 years.
Okay, yeah, he seems to know what he's doing.
Yeah, he
But he did
definitely-
promise he'd bring that report back.
Okay, so Mary
Yes.
Vondrake left. I'm sorry to hear that. Great, super addition to the staff. Commissioner Rulon?
Yeah.
Just quickly, we are not having a lighting subcommittee meeting this month because the very first draft of the ordinance is being prepared, and our meeting next month in July, we will be doing our first review of an ordinance. So,
Who's we? You.
The subcommittee.
The ordinance subcommittee will be doing a review of the ordinance.
yes, the
About
lighting
time we got
subcommittee.
some production out of you.
The commission's going to get an opportunity to read it and provide comments, so,
Eventually, yeah.
soon.
Okay.
And we're doing a study session on that topic.
Okay. All right, great. Okay.
It's on July 6th.
Commissioner Wu, your lights on?
Yes, I'll be absent for the next planning commission meeting.
Okay,
So
Thank
I'll
you.
see you guys after Independence Day.
okay. Okay, all other lights are out. I think the date for the planning commission appointment meeting for us, are we on there's 2 dates, are we on the first date, as far as you know, Jim, or is there anything out from the city clerk on that? The dates have been selected, but
I haven't seen anything on it.
I think it's 27th and then the 29th, something like that. With that,
And Design Review Subcommittee is meeting tomorrow, rather than on the, I guess it would be the 16th. So,
okay, thank you. If there's no other items of business, I'll,
One question.
yeah?
This session got bumped from the first Wednesday to the second, and I understand when the next one's going to be, which should be 2 weeks after that. When we go to the next month, is it going to go back to the first Wednesday? Yes.
Yeah, this is just because of election.
It's always the day after the city council meeting, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. We have to adjust a little bit every once in a while because of the election, because they use this,
I showed up here and it was pretty dark, actually.
okay.
7-6.
Chair Brown, I have a question to the commission. If I may ask, who on the commission is seeking reappointment for another term?
There's 3 of us.
Okay. Well, I hope it works out, because I've enjoyed working with you.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that,
Then I will move, if there's nothing else, I'll move that we adjourn to the adjourned regular planning commission meeting to be held at 6 PM on June 22nd, 2016, in council chambers at City Hall located at 100 Avenue Presidio, San Clemente, California.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second by Wu. And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0.
Fastest hand ever. That's real.